Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Shariq Aqil. I'm a global field CTO with Zerto in HPE. And with me today, we have...
My name is Sasha Acosta. I'm a global sales leader for the Zerto Cyber Resilience Vault.
Thank you, Sasha. So, first of all, I want to thank Predatar for giving us the opportunity to talk to everyone. And today we'll be talking about cyber resilience. We'll be talking about the importance of recovery from a cyber attack. We'll be talking about the importance of having an air gap and recovery assurance. But Sasha, why don't we start with, if you can give us an overview on what we are hearing from our customers.
Sure, yeah, it's a great question. So I have the pleasure of having a global sales role, which means I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of customers across the globe. And what we're hearing from our customers is very, very consistent with what we're seeing from research experts like IDC. One of the biggest things, obviously, that we're hearing is that ransomware is on the rise. I think everyone knows this. It's just, what is that level of impact? At this point, we're predicting that by 2024, cyber is going to cost our customers approximately $10 trillion. That's a massive amount of money. And to put in perspective, if you were to look at that as a global economy, it would be the third largest economy globally, only after the United States and China. So needless to say, it is a massive, massive problem for our customers. We go down and we actually break out disaster, because cyber events are clearly disaster events. Ransomware specifically makes up 61% of the disasters that have been reported. Right, so clearly this is a massive problem for our customers. The second thing that we start to see is the ransomware dilemma. So effectively for our customers, are they able to actually recover that data? And if not, what do they do in terms of paying that ransom? Should they not? And what we're seeing right now is that approximately only 4% of our customers are actually able to get that data back or get some format or some level of that data back, which means they may not be able to recover properly. You know, I was speaking with a customer the other day and they were mentioning how they were actually forced to pay the ransom. They were a healthcare institution and there was patient lives at risk, so they paid it. And what happened effectively was these because of the fact that they funded illegal outlets, the FBI was at their doorstep the following day doing an investigation. So even if you have to pay that ransom, there's consequences in doing so. So massive risk. The other big problem that our customers are having is that even if they do have that data available, it's how long does it take them to actually recover that data? Leveraging traditional backup technology is very complex. There's a lot of different steps involved in it. And getting that data back can take approximately over 4 weeks. And that's just not acceptable. So customers are looking for ways to be able to recover that data and minimize that data loss. And then lastly, if you think of all the complexities that's happening, the global impact that it could have, there's a lot of regulation that our customers are now having to work with. So whether it's, whether it's SOX, HIPAA, DORA, FISMA, but effectively these customers have to now look at these requirements and understand how to address those requirements.
Well, that's a good overview. And one of the reasons these regulators are coming out with these requirements is because of the growing sophistication of the cyber attacks. Now what we are noticing is like these cyber attackers are making use of AI to evade your security defenses. So it's not only about having a perimeter defense, but also need to have a plan to have a recovery technology in place. With that, if we refer to NIST cybersecurity framework, which is a very well-known, very well-respected framework, there are 5 different pillars. It starts with identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. First 3 pillars are usually the responsibility of security teams. They are responsible for keeping the bad actors out. They are doing an excellent job on keeping the bad actors out. They are stopping the attacks before they can cause any damage. But if and when a bad actor is in and they are able to cause any damage, who's responsible for recovering the data? Usually, it's not the security team. And it is the storage team. Now the question comes, if operations and storage teams are responsible for recovering the data in case of a cyber attack, do they have the right technology in place? What kind of technology they have today? So this is a big question. And what we have seen in the market that our customers have started with, because it was kind of an easy button, they started with data protection technologies, the traditional data protection technologies I'm talking about. They started with that. And what they did, they were already backing up their data, so they started creating an air-gapped copy of the data. But there is one reminder. Our customers never relied on traditional data protection technologies to provide them with mass data recovery. They always relied on some technologies like storage replication, Zerto, or there are many other technologies in the market to be able to do the mass recovery, quick failover and failback operations. And now if you rely on cyber recovery strategy based off of data protection technologies, then there's a fair chance that you will run into the issues of data loss, the bigger data loss window, the longer recovery times. So that was one of the issues that we have seen in the market. So Sasha, why don't you talk to us about how we are doing it differently and why we are different here?
Yeah, I think before we jump into our ransomware resilience platform and what we can offer customers, there might be a lot of new folks on this call here or on this session, and I think we should start off by talking about what is Zerto and what benefits does it provide our customers. So effectively, Zerto leverages what we call CDP, or continuous data protection, right? And so what we effectively do is we help our customers be able to protect their virtual environments, those most critical workloads, to make sure that if something was to happen from a disaster recovery perspective, they could be up and running in minutes, right? And our objective has always been to minimize that data loss to seconds, so we're talking 3 to 5 seconds of data loss, and the ability to restore that environment within 5 to 10 minutes, right? So absolutely providing our customers with the lowest RPOs and RTOs. And that's where we started. And then as our customers started to change their use cases and as they started to expand, so for example, going from a DR site to perhaps a cloud or multiple cloud, we start to evolve our solution as well. And what we give our customers is the flexibility of going on-prem to DR, or on-prem to cloud, cloud to cloud, or if even they wanted, go back from cloud back on-prem. So just full data mobility. And of course, with that technology, and of course what's happening in the marketplace, we've extended that into now what we call our ransomware resilience platform, which we're going to talk about today.
So let's talk about it. So we came up with the solution where what we did, we saw the gaps that we were talking about regarding data protection and traditional technologies. We saw that as a gap, and we came up with a technology where what we did is we combined the capabilities of Zerto, which was known for quick failover, failback, as Sasha was talking about, and provide mass data recovery within minutes. We combined that with HPE's hardware to come up with a solution that deals with 3 major pillars of cyber resilience. And it starts with replicate and detect. Zerto was always on, always replicating data from one site to the target site. We were always doing that. But with this solution now, what we are doing additionally is like as we are replicating those blocks, now we are scanning those blocks to identify any traces of encryption in it, any traces of encryption, any traces, any anomalies. So we are detecting those, and we are detecting it in real time. It's not like traditional backup you perform every 24 hours. It's like as your data is changing, we will be replicating those blocks as well as scanning it. So you're always sure about the health of the data that we are storing. Once we have scanned the data inline, now the second pillar will come into the play. We have received the data. Now what we will do, we will log the data, make it immutable, and we will isolate it. Means we'll create an air-gapped copy of the data. So now we are talking about protecting, but nothing is complete unless we can really test and recover what we are protecting. So there comes the third pillar. And this is the most important pillar of our solution. The ability to test and ability to recover your environment in case you are attacked. And with this pillar, I'm very happy that we have got a very good solution when it comes to like recovery assurance from Predatar. And that is the software that is working in this design to be able to provide our customers with recovery assurance. It is very important We always talk about protection. We never talk about how sure we are about the recovery. So having recovery assurance is really important. So Predatar is always making sure that whatever Zerto or your data protection products are protecting, you are able to recover. You are always sure about that it's recoverable. Plus, they'll go take a step forward and perform a full scan of the data to be able to tell you, like, it's not only recoverable, but the health of the data is good too. It's clean, it's healthy, and you are able to recover. So that's on a high level that we have got. And if we just talk about what the solution is, how we are securing the data, if we just talk about the second pillar, which is isolate and lock. So on a high level, this is an immutable data vault that is storing your data. When I say immutable, the immutability is in compliance mode. Once the data is locked, nobody can alter the data. The data is isolated from production at all time. There is no connection going back to production, so there is no access. Even for the customers, there is no access to that data unless they physically access the location. And it's immutable, we talked about it. And this whole architecture is built on zero trust. So we are not saying that there is no way any single component of this architecture will not be compromised. It is possible. And we designed the solution in a way that any exposed component of this solution, if it is compromised, will still be able to recover you and recover you very quickly. So it's a total zero trust architecture. So if I walk you through and give you an example. So this is an example. On the left side of the screen, you can see there is a production environment where customers have got critical workloads running. So there's the production environment. On the right side, this is the appliance we were talking about. The Cyber Resilience Vault is an appliance. And this appliance have got two zones. One is the landing zone. The second one is the vault zone. Landing zone is the receiver of the data. This is the zone that will be exposed on your network. It will be receiving the data. But the vault zone is totally isolated and air-gapped from landing zone as well as from production. One thing I want to mention, and this is very critical and very important and very different compared to other solutions. In this architecture, you will see one thing. We are not making use of any slow appliance or backup appliances or cheap and deep storage. What we are making use of, it's all production grade, all NVMe storage. Production grade compute, production grade networking. So this solution is designed to recover your data and for you to be able to continue your operations or resume your operations or perform forensics. This is all built into this architecture. So coming back to the architecture, on the left side you have critical workloads. Customers will identify what critical workloads they want to protect. Zerto will start replicating those into the landing zone. As we are replicating the data, we are also performing the scan, the inline detection technology that we have. We are doing that. And then we are writing the checkpoint on the storage. And it is, as Sasha was talking about, it is continuous data protection. It's any point in time recovery to this point. So every 3 to 5 seconds, you have a checkpoint you can go back to. This is pre-scanned for you. Now we have received the data, and we are storing the data here. Every few hours, we'll make an immutable copy. We'll apply the retention lock on it, and we'll keep it here. But before going somewhere else, now I want to talk about the Predatar part of this architecture. So as I was talking before, like Predatar recovery assurance is always running. It is always talking. And the beauty of Predatar is it's not only performing a recovery test, it's not only performing a security scan, but it is also integrated with your security tools that our customers have already got. We talk about QRadar, we talk about Splunk, we talk about Microsoft Sentinel. There are a variety of different products that are supported with the Predatar. So Predatar is receiving the signals, collecting the information from all those sources, and running the AI on top of that to analyze if there is a need to perform any recovery test, if there is a need for any anomaly testing that needs to be done. And then Predatar will perform, in this architecture, Predatar will perform a recovery test to provide you with recovery assurance, and then it will perform a deep scan of the data by not using the backup technologies, by using the true security companies and XDRs. And there are multiple XDRs built into the product. Now, as soon as we have completed the verification of the data, we completed the recovery process, and we scanned the data. Now what we are going to do, the second zone of the appliance will gets activated, and that's a vault zone. As you remember, I talked about, it's a totally air-gapped part of the appliance. So what we are going to do here, we are going to create a connection that's a point-to-point. From one storage unit sitting in the landing zone, it's going straight to the replication port of the storage unit sitting in the vault zone. When I say it's a replication port, it's replication-only port. There is no management access on it. And it's a point-to-point connection, is totally off network. It's not connected on the network at any point in time. So it's totally off network, point-to-point. But on top of that, what we are doing is like this port inside the vault zone, this replication port is not enabled all the time. It's only enabled every few hours. We enable the port, then we perform a pull-based replication. We pull the data into the vault, whatever we were protecting. That includes a state of your protected data, a state of the full landing zone, including Predatar database and Predatar clean room. We pull everything in, and then we disable the port again. As soon as the port is disabled, there is no connectivity again going anywhere. Now we have received the data inside the vault, we'll apply retention lock on it, and we'll make it immutable. Now what we have been able to achieve? We have been able to achieve a disconnected any point in time recovery solution. That is not converting the data into backup format. The data is in native format. It is plain VMDK, VMFS, ready to be recovered. And we have pre-scanned it for you. Now we have received it in the vault, we have made it immutable. You are ready to recover the data. If you are hit, then you are able to recover the data or perform forensic operations within the vault zone, because this vault zone comes built in with a clean room. The clean room is part of this architecture which is built in. So all you have to do at that point, you will go, bring the last known good copy of the data online, and just say power on. And you are able to bring your workloads online right there. So if we have to summarize this, Sasha, what you will say?
Yeah, so first off, thank you for the great description and the architecture review and the workflow itself. Really, when we designed this and built it, I think we really focused on three things. And one was obviously make it fast and secure. So when we say fast, again, we realized that gap in traditional backup and restore from it. So we had to make sure that we could restore that data within hours as opposed to weeks and months. And we fully achieved that, as well as making sure that it was absolutely secure, right? So we talked about immutability, we talked about air gap. So very, very critical to the architecture of our solution. The second was a full stack solution. In working with other vendors, perhaps you might see something where you have one component, then there's a separate vault zone, then there's perhaps a clean room. The design that we built here was an all-in-one appliance. So effectively, all these components that you've discussed and reviewed are all built into this solution to make it super, super easy for our customers. And the third one, of course, is security over convenience, right? So effectively, when you consider our solution, it is completely decentralized. There is no single manager to that solution, right? So effectively, we have to assume that anything and everything in your environment can be compromised. The fact that it's decentralized allows us to make sure that we will have that ability to restore that data in that critical moment.
Well, that's a good summary, and I'll just say one thing. This solution is designed to recover you from a cyber attack. Recover you very quickly. And it's not only about protecting the data. With this solution, we are also providing recovery assurance, and recovery assurance on the health of the data and quality of the data. With that, I'll wrap up this session. And again, I want to thank you, Predatar, for giving us the opportunity to talk to everyone today. Thanks a lot.